Live from Chicago, this is News 3 Now's special coverage of the Democratic National Convention.
And good afternoon. Welcome once again to News 3 Now at 5.
We are broadcasting live here at the beautiful Lincoln Park Zoo, the Nature Boardwalk here in Chicago for the second night of the Democratic National Convention. It's really good to be with all of you. I'm Charlotte DeLeste.
And I'm Eric Franke. Last night, the United Center was absolutely roaring with appearances by former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Of course, she was born right here in Chicago, as well as Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and President Biden capped off tonight, all after a surprise appearance by the presidential nominee Vice President Kamala Harris.
And we are going to be bringing you team coverage through the week here during this convention.
That's right. It is a politically active day as well. Back in Wisconsin, our Maddie Heimsch is at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee for a Harris-Walz campaign event today.
And Meryl Hubbard, she's live at the United Center, and Brady Mallory is also live on Media Row in the United Center. And that is where we are going to begin. We're going to begin with Brady, who's had a really super sweet spot right there along Media Row at the United Center since this all began yesterday.
Yeah, so Brady, what's the energy like in the building today?
Well, good evening. Yeah, there certainly is a lot of energy. I escaped from Media Row and hopped up on this perch, so you can see the bowl of the United Center behind me, and the crowd is trickling in. Eric, you talked about that roar of applause and standing ovations last night. We'll see if that can happen again tonight. You know, it's day 2 of the DNC, but really it feels like day 1. Now, here's what I mean by that. We did see President Biden give his speech, effectively his last speech at a convention like this as sitting president. And then what happens is we're seeing a changing of the guard. So tonight, Vice President Harris, her campaign will really claim the tone and tenor of the DNC tonight. And so now her job is to capture the broader electorate beyond these walls. And we'll see if that enthusiasm for her and Governor Tim Walz continues out there, because even though it is a very obviously pro-Walz and Harris crowd here, it's still a very close race between her and former President Donald Trump. So we'll see what is in store tonight. But let's talk about the speeches tonight. 2 of the most anticipated speeches are coming from 2 of the most powerful people within the Democratic Party. That, of course, is former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. They're here to further energize the crowd and unite this party to get fully behind Harris and Walz as the ticket moves forward and as the DNC moves forward. So we will be live here with recap of tonight's speeches and show you, what was said and how that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the week as we move from day 2 to day 3 to day 4. Eric, Charlotte?
Vance is here in Kenosha as Republicans are offering an alternative to the Harris-Walz ticket, and Democrats as they hold their DNC in Chicago. I was started by asking him what he thought of day 1 of the DNC. So we're seeing possibly a little bit of momentum on the Harris-Walz campaign. They might get a bump after the DNC. How are Republicans working to mitigate that?
Look, I think we just have to tell the American people the truth, right? This is a very simple campaign. It's what do you want? Do you want to be better off after 4 years of President Trump's leadership, or do you want the Harris record of higher inflation and less stability all over the world?
Vance says some of the messaging from Republicans is to ask voters whether they are better off after 4 years of Trump versus 4 years of Biden-Harris. Now, we'll have more from our exclusive one-on-one sit-down with Vance later tonight. Reporting from Kenosha, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Will. Well, we have more team coverage all over the place. How about that, News 3 Now? We're in all these different places. We're in Chicago, we're in Milwaukee, we are in Kenosha. But let's check in with Maddie Heimsch to see how things are going where she's at. Maddie?
Yeah, Brady, we've been here at the Fiserv Forum all day. Now, doors just opened to the public to get in here, I would say about an hour ago. So we've been seeing people steadily filing in, finding their spots. They're ready to hear Kamala Harris speak. So she's not going to speak for several more hours. We don't know that exact time. Obviously, those things always in flux at events like these. But I am going to step out and let you see the setup here, how everyone is filing in. So you can see the scene here where Kamala Harris is to speak, and obviously a lot lot of cameras. We're here among the rest of the media, so you'll see all of that. Now, outside of the Pfizer Forum earlier today, we talked with a Jewish voter in line. He came to hand out kippahs that say "Make America Kosher Again." He talked to us in line about the conflict between Israel and Palestine, of course, that driving force behind a lot of those protests we're seeing in Chicago. He says he doesn't believe the issue will affect November's vote in the same way as some of those issues closer to home. Take a listen.
I think most people are more concerned about the bread and butter issues, the kitchen table issues. If they're having problems getting by, they want to know what the candidates are going to do to improve their situation.
Those, quote, bread and butter issues here in Wisconsin that we're expecting Harris to discuss would include women's reproductive rights, prescription drug costs, price gouging, among many others. And also set to join her on the Milwaukee stage tonight, of course, Tim Walz, as well as Representative Gwen Moore, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, Milwaukee Bucks President Peter Feigin, and Bucks forward Chris Middleton. And tonight's speeches here on the Milwaukee stage will inevitably overlap some of those speakers we're expecting to see down in Chicago at the DNC. So there's a lot to look out for tonight. I'll send it back to you guys in Chicago.
All right, Maddie, Will, and Brady, thank you very much. Crowds are starting to move into the United Center to hear the main speakers tonight.
And our Meryl Hubbard is on the floor, and she has an update on the very latest. Meryl?
Yeah, Eric and Charlotte, here on the floor of the United Center, it is just packed with people. If you look to the right of me here, there's just delegates that are taking their seats, getting comfortable and ready for the big night. There's supposed to be about 4,000 delegates from around the country here today, and they're getting super excited for some big speakers. Day 2 of the DNC is centered around making a bold future for America. There are tens of thousands of people inside now as they are getting amped up to hear from speakers like Michelle and Barack Obama. We spoke with former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who is very excited to hear Obama speak, but he also says he loves hearing testimonials from everyday people on the big stage.
We hear from politicians all the time, right? We talk a lot, but having everyday people get on that stage and share their experience is, I think, what makes the convention what it is.
We'll have a celebratory announcement to nominate Kamala Harris on the Democratic ticket. And coming up tonight, we're going to hear more from Mandela Barnes about the momentum of the Democratic Party. Reporting live on the floor, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
All right, Meryl, thank you. More than 2,000 delegates attended the Republican National Convention last month in Milwaukee. There are more than 4,000 here at the DNC.
But what other differences are there? Our Ellie LaLiberte caught up with a Wisconsin radio host about what she has noticed.
I am here with Maggie Don, who is a radio host with Civic Media, which is a radio broadcasting group throughout the state of Wisconsin. How are you doing, Maggie?
I'm good. Excited to be here. It's beautiful in Chicago.
All right. And so to get us kind of started off with, you were at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee just last month. What are some of the biggest differences you've seen between that convention and this one?
The first thing that popped out to me was just overall vibe. The excitement level here at the DNC is really palpable. Even when you're here during some of these more quiet times, which is in the early morning and mid-afternoon to mid-afternoon, people are still jazzed. When I was visiting the RNC as well, the mood there seemed to be a little bit more restrained, a little bit more downer, if you will. So the first one is just the mood and the vibe. The second thing I'll point out is that just anecdotally, the diversity of people attending this event just seems much more broad.
And so what about similarities between these two conventions?
I think, the formality of the process of what these parties are doing for their nominating process, to announce their platforms, the meeting of the state delegates, that is all part of the pomp and circumstance. And the pomp and circumstance itself is a similarity between the two.
And so both of these conventions are pretty close to home, if not in home, for Wisconsinites. What does that mean for the voters in the state?
Yeah, I think it's reflective of how critical the industrial Midwest, especially the upper Midwest, is. Whether you're talking about Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin, the road to the White House really starts to require those states. And I think you're seeing both parties acknowledge that in their selection of convention venue.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Maggie. And, there are 15,000 journalists like us here today. But for now, reporting outside the United Center, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
This morning at the DNC Wisconsin Delegates Breakfast, several speakers took to the stage, including Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. Kelly highlighted how he has worked in Wisconsin to re-elect Senator Tammy Baldwin and said the work Baldwin has done is very valuable to the whole Senate. Kelly said the whole purpose of the convention is really pretty simple.
This is not rocket science. It isn't. If it was, I could help you with that. But it ain't. You know what this is about? It's just a team of people working together to accomplish one goal. And the goal is to get people to show up to vote.
And celebrating and lifting up Wisconsin's amazing
To bring you the very latest from the Democratic National Convention, as well as an exclusive interview from J.D. Vance and full coverage of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz's rally that's happening in Milwaukee today. You won't want to miss our coverage. And if you do miss the coverage, we're airing a special show filling you in on everything that's happening. That's today at 7:30. That's only on channel3000.com. And we'll go back to Madison next for today's local headline. Complete first warn forecast when we come back.
Introducing the new Sushi Lover Madison. All-you-can-eat sushi and hibachi at an amazing price. Now open at Westtown Mall for lunch or dinner. Be sure to try Sushi Lover Madison.
Maddie has heart failure, and it can't be cured. Our neighbor is using a Grace, so I asked Maddie's doctor about them. Turns out, they can help us. They're already managing Maddie's breathing trouble better. A Grace, authentic care and connection. Visit agrace.org to learn more.
Trust your feet to Morgan's Shoes.
Why Nout? Why not? Feel the comfort and durability of Nout footwear at Morgan Shoes. Nout shoes and sandals feature full-grain leathers in a multitude of colors. Nout's cork and latex composite insole is designed for daily comfort and support, and they are made to last. You'll enjoy Nout's luxury. Shop Morgan Shoes Hilldale for your next pair.
Comfort with style. Trust your feet to Morgan Shoes.
Morgan Shoes Hilldale.
Right now, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. So when you purchase your new concrete coating, you get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off installation or 60-month no-interest financing. This is one of our best deals of the year, so visit our website or call the number for your new floor today.
Sanctuary cities protect illegal immigrant criminals from being deported, like an illegal immigrant arrested for battery in Madison. Instead of being deported, he was released and went on to assault several more women, including a 13-year-old girl. Senator Tammy Baldwin voted 9 times to support federal funding for sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegals back onto our streets. And Baldwin voted for amnesty for 11 million illegals, including criminals. Tell Senator Baldwin, stop protecting illegal immigrants and start protecting Wisconsin.
Old windows? Compromise your home's comfort. Vinyl windows, a 1970s relic, aren't built for extreme weather. They warp and crack, becoming vulnerable to the elements. At Next Door and Window, we have the answer. Fiberglass. Our Ultrex fiberglass windows last up to 50 years, longer than any other window you can buy. And while other companies cut corners and never call you back, we've got your back. When you demand tomorrow's comfort, Next delivers. Visit nextwindow.com to learn more.
Introducing the new Sushi Lover Madison. All-you-can-eat sushi and hibachi at an amazing price. Now open at Westtown Mall for lunch or dinner. Be sure to try Sushi Lover Madison.
Vice presidential hopeful J.D. Vance is in Wisconsin today. We're inside the motorcade, providing an exclusive look at his visit to the state. And then Madison considers a $22 million property tax referendum, how this could impact your wallet. That's tonight at 6. News 3 Now brings you team coverage from the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. We'll talk to delegates about the issues that matter right here in Wisconsin. Campaign 2024 DNC coverage live from Chicago. All this week on News 3 Now.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
Thank you for staying with us. The city of Monona is putting a referendum question on the November ballot, according to a release from the city. The council voted last night to put the measure on the ballot that asks whether voters support a $3 million increase in the city's annual property tax levy. It is to address growing operating expenses and aims to maintain city services. The city says in recent years they have gone from a 1% to 4% turnover rate per year. up to a 22% turnover rate last year due to non-competitive staff wages. It would amount to a $163 increase per $100,000 of property value. We are just a few short weeks away from our back-to-school season, and it's never too late to remind your students about protecting their back. The right backpack is important because it prevents kids developing back, neck, and upper shoulder pain and muscle strains. UW Health recommends the right type as well as the proper use of backpacks.
And wear the backpack with 2 straps because, again, it evenly distributes the weight among their back and their shoulders. Wearing a backpack on one side means that all of the weight is being held only on one side of the body, which can then lead to muscular imbalances, and some of those muscular strains we'll see associated with improper backpack use.
UW Health also adds that there is no known association between improper backpack use or too heavy of backpacks and the prevalence of scoliosis. Another beautiful day in southern Wisconsin. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Kelly Slifka is out on the weather patio. Kelly, first off, how does it feel out there?
You know, actually a little bit cool. You know, I guess I like the heat, so this a little early for me to be this cool, but definitely feeling like autumn. We're in store for another cool night. In fact, down to 51 in Madison. That would actually be cooler than what we had this morning. Our low officially in Madison was 53. I wouldn't doubt some of these outlying areas, especially northeast of Madison, don't actually dip into the 40s come tomorrow morning. So we do have some cooler than average temperatures, at least for this time of August. So yeah, we are looking at some cool temperatures. We've got high pressure coming down from Canada. We have noticed some of these high thin clouds kind of filtering out the sun later this afternoon, but all that rain is going to be staying out to our west. That will not be a concern going forward. So mild, comfortable temperatures, especially in the afternoons, just kind of cool during the evenings and overnight period. But then we will get back in that August-like warmth that we typically would see back in the 80s for both Saturday and Sunday. Very little rain, kind of unusual from what we've dealt with throughout the summer season. So temperatures are a little bit cooler than where we were even at this time yesterday. We're about 5 degrees cooler here in Madison. And that's because we've had this steady northeast wind. This is very typical here in southern Wisconsin. When we get a northeast wind, that tends to bring in cooler than average temperatures, and that's what we're going to deal with yet tomorrow before we start to see that shift in our temperatures and also humidity. Now, the humidity remains very low today. That will continue right through Thursday and Friday, but as we get in the weekend, you are going to notice that humidity come up with dew point temperatures well in the 60s. So lately, they've been in the 50s. Our rain chance is pretty slim, as mentioned. Maybe in the weekend, just because of that humidity coming our way and a couple of disturbances moving through, just a slim chance of an outside shower passing through. But in the meantime, probably cloudy skies, mainly some of these high clouds throughout the evening hours. Need that jacket after the sun goes down, and by tomorrow morning, you know, some of the locations indicating some 40s waking up tomorrow morning. But then we should get that sunshine out there, warming up a little bit more than what we saw today. Should be in the low to mid 70s, so a few degrees warmer than where we were today. Warm conditions, though. This is our 6 to 10 day outlook, closing out the month of August. You can see much of the country, excluding the northern Rockies, expecting above average temperatures. And it looks like that dry weather pattern is going to continue across the upper Midwest. 70 right now in Madison, 73 in Janesville, across Dane County. We've got low 70s, 71 right now up in Waunakee, and 70 in Madison, 70 also in Oregon. The first warm forecast, another cool night. Tonight, tomorrow, we should be up to a 75, 78 on Thursday, 79 Friday, but there are those 80s. The humidity comes up. That means those overnight lows up closer to 70, and also we'll have just an isolated possibility of a shower this weekend. Jalen.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Kelly. Coming up after the break, our DNC coverage continues. We hear from former Madison Mayor Day as he breaks down the Democratic National Convention and all of its happenings.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Your child's confidence stems from learning and seeing clearly. At Shopko Optical, our professional team will help your child start their journey of confidence by providing quality eye care in a warm and comfortable environment. Schedule their back-to-school exam at shopko.com.
With Sweeto Metal Roofing, you get quality metal roofs installed by the best in the business. A metal roof means no fading, no storm repairs, true sustainability, and lower energy bills.
Sweeto Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
We wanted to be able to enjoy all 4 seasons, and patio enclosures helped us make that dream come true.
The one and only patio enclosures.
Like a bowl of cherries,
Life in Attic Angel is healthy and sweet. Our independent and assisted living lifestyles include newly renovated apartments, engaging social activities, and wellness support that is tailored to you. As time marches on, we promote the idea that life can always be a bowl of cherries. Attic Angel Community, the house that angels built.
It's their classic rock that brings audiences to their feet. It's Blue Oyster Cult, performing live Saturday, August 31st at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. Tickets on sale now through Ticketmaster. Over 5 decades of music, thrilling fans everywhere. It's Blue Oyster Cult, August 31st at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. Your odds are better here.
This is you. And you are why we do what we do. Each and every one of you are wonderful, amazing people. So we'll treat you that way on your journey of trusted care. Because the way you feel matters. Unity Point Health Meritor, a partner of UW Health, know how much you matter to this world.
Think Sloan's first.
We've been with Sloan Implement since my father started farming, my grandfather started farming. They are a family business that's been around for generations, and that's very important to us.
Think Sloan first, now during Gear Up for Fall on a John Deere 1025R compact utility tractor. This just may be the workhorse you need to get those to-do projects on the to-done list. Get 1.9% for 84 months.
Think Sloan's first.
Everyone's vision needs are unique. At Shopko Optical, our caring team of professionals will work with you to ensure your vision is at its best. Shopko Optical can help you experience every detail, color, and breathtaking sight in clarity.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
And we are back live from the beautiful Lincoln Park Zoo here in Chicago, bringing in one of our pundits, as we did from the Republican National Convention, former Madison Mayor Dave Cheslevich.
Yeah, we want to mention Republican strategist Brandon Schultz. He'll be back with us on Thursday to talk about the happenings here. But Dave, before we get started, I want to get your thoughts on kind of the historic nature of what's happening here. I don't know if you want to reflect a bit on last night, but also what's happening here tonight and these kind of dueling conventions we've got going on between the Fiserv Forum and here at the United Center.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden gave a good speech last night. It was solid for Joe Biden. He did what he needed to do. He passed the baton on to Kamala Harris. But aside from that, I thought that Biden actually was a bit more like the old Biden from 4 years ago. And if he had been that Biden back in June during the debate, you know, he probably would have been talking Thursday night instead of Monday night. He probably would still have the nomination. But I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, because I think he would have been good enough to get the nomination, but probably would have lost to Donald Trump in the fall. So I think it's worked out well. I thought Harris's appearance, her brief appearance last night on the stage, was perfect in terms of the tone she set, and clearly there's a lot of excitement. You know, if this had been a Biden convention, it would have been like the Democrats shuffling into the DMV waiting room, but instead it's more like a Beyonce concert.
That's very exciting to sound. Okay, so going off of President Biden's speech last night, what is the vibe that you're getting from all of this? And do you think it was a mistake for this to go so late last night?
It was, but you know, I'm not a member of an organized political party. I'm a Democrat. And my gosh, you know, we can't organize a two-float parade. But I don't think that matters a lot. I felt bad for President Biden that he did have to go beyond prime time. But I think what matters, rather than any of those details, is just the vibe, the feeling in the room. And there's no question that the Democrats are excited, they're energized, they're united. And that's what matters. I think tonight you're going to see a different show. You know, none of the speakers last night were great natural orators, but both of the Obamas, both Barack and Michelle Obama, are excellent public speakers. And so I think things are going to be different tonight. They needed to move on from Joe Biden, and now it's all about Harris.
Yeah, I mean, you had a few moments with the President Obama when he came through Madison when you were mayor, and he gave some pretty electric speeches at the Kohl Center, packing the crowds. It's all about crowds now, right?
Well,
pretty crazy.
According to Trump, it is.
That's all people talk about.
Barack Obama is just, you know, a once-in-a-generation politician. I mean, he has a gift. I was there in 2004 in Boston when he gave the keynote speech that started his political career. He was just a little-known state senator at the time, and he is quite the speaker.
And it'll be interesting to see what he has to say tonight in one of his hometowns anyway. He's been Hawaii here, but he's a Chicago guy at heart. Mayor Dave, great to talk to you. We really appreciate your perspective.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back with a check of the forecast. Stay with us.
When treating shoulder pain, I think one of the most important things that we need to do is listen to our patients. Most times, just listening to the patient, letting them explain what's been bothering them, I'm able to help confirm a diagnosis.
Start your landscaping project today and get an 11% rebate on everything. Now at Menards. We're your destination for concrete landscaping blocks. We have the largest in-stock selection ready for you to take home today. Plus, get free estimates fast using our easy do-it-yourself landscape design program in-store or on Menards.com. Get this Lakestone patio block for only $2.99 each after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
I became a nurse to make lives better. Today, that's hard to do because of the open border. I've seen firsthand the damage that Kamala Harris caused as our country's borders are. Hospitals everywhere are overwhelmed, and American patients are paying the price. My patients are covering the healthcare costs for people here illegally while their own care is jeopardized. Kamala Harris is weak and dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Drive into summer with a new Honda. Heading out for a day at the beach or a weekend in the mountains. Make an impression with the unmistakable style of the HR-V or turn heads in the sporty Civic. And when you drive a Honda, you're driving with the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So act now to get an offer you'll love. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
A lot of law firms claim to be experts at handling injury cases that involve large trucks. But handling one trucking case does not make you an expert on the subject. Experience matters in these cases. One local firm has handled 25 trucking cases which resulted in payments over $1 million each, and hundreds of others as well. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Chain-link is out and aluminum is in this season. These aluminum fences are not only beautiful and durable, but backed by a lifetime warranty too. Act fast! Revamp is offering $1,000 off a qualified purchase plus a free single gate. Scan the code, check us out online, or give us a call for your free quote today.
Don't let an appliance breakdown break you down. Shop Brothers Maine's super in-stock selection from brands like GE Appliances with support stirred into every purchase. Whether replacing or remodeling, we've got you covered. Brothers Maine, feel like family.
Dr. Ravel is one of the best. I mean, you can't ask for any other person in orthopedics that I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of people in orthopedics, let me tell you. Ortho team and Dr. Ravel are wonderful.
All right, we do have another cool night. Temperatures dipping down into the lower 50s, maybe even a little bit cooler than what we saw last night. A nice afternoon tomorrow, a little bit warmer, 75, upper 70s for Thursday and Friday. That summer-like August heat returns for the weekend. The humidity comes up. We're in the mid to upper 80s. Slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm for Saturday and Sunday. Cooling off by the later part of next week. Now let's go back to Eric and Charlotte back into Chicago.
And we want to give a big shout out, Kelly, thank you, to our hosts here at the Lincoln Park Zoo. I mentioned yesterday this was a field trip for me in middle school. It is amazing what they have made. I love to talk about my middle school field trips. It's amazing how they've beautified this zoo in the last decade.
I've never been here before, so this is just like a feast for the eyes.
It's 49 acres, 14 of which includes this nature boardwalk. And as you were alluding to earlier, it is great people watching. It's great dog watching.
Yeah.
They have a great collection of animals. Our digital producer Kyle, you know, he's going to be a dad in the next year.
So
he's got to get used to the zoo terrain, zoo practice. And this is a great zoo. It's been great to have him as our host.
And this is what I didn't know. This is not only an accredited zoo, but also an accredited arboretum, botanical garden, and home to the only accredited hibiscus collection in all of the country.
It is beautiful.
Who knew?
Who doesn't love a good hibiscus?
I know.
Well, we love having them here. We really appreciate it. We'll be back in a half hour. News 3 Now at 6 CBS Evening News coming